What's up everyone and welcome to another first impressions video. Thank you for all the support on the Melee one, the reaction to that has been incredible. Topic of today's video is the newest system to be brought into the game, which has caused a lot of discussion. So it's time to wade into that with my thoughts on the Kuva Liches system. This system started life as the Kingpin system when it was teased something like 2 years ago. Before I can go through what I feel are its problems in the system, I need to talk quickly about how it all works. So here is a really quick guide to it. To spawn a Lich, you need to do a level 20 plus Grineer mission and hope that a Kuva Lavaling spawns. If it does, then you kill that Kuva Lavaling with your Parazon and that generates your Lich. The frame that you kill them with influences the element on the weapon that the Lich has, Sarin for Toxin, Grendel for Impact for example. Other than that, the weapon is random. The percentage buff of the element on the weapon is random, as is everything, well, almost everything about the Lich itself. Other than that, the weapon is random, the percentage buff of the element is random, as is almost everything about the Lich. The resistances, the immunities, the weaknesses, and even the traits of the actual thing itself. The only thing that's not random about the Lich is the ability set, which depends on the frame that you killed them with and the element that's basically attributed to that frame. There's currently, I believe, 13 weapons that the Lich can spawn with, and the percentage of that elemental damage can be between 25 and 60%. There are also 7 ephemeras that the Lich has a random chance to spawn with as well. Although the ephemera is influenced by the frame you spawn the Lich with, yet it is still a very small percentage chance to get it. Once you've got your Lich, you need to check the star map to see which planet they're occupying, run the nodes that your Lich is occupying to take down your Lich's thralls. Killing thralls will give you progress towards figuring out the combination on your Parazon that you need to finally kill your Lich. Liches, when they spawn, come with a randomly generated combo that needs to be figured out so you can kill them. Attempting to do a finisher on your Lich with the wrong combo will result in the Lich killing you and leveling up. They can level up to rank 5, not only getting stronger on their own, but increases the enemy level of the guys in the Lich missions as well. Each time they level up, they will occupy more and more planets on the star map. Planets that are controlled by your Lich are subject to a Lich tax, where they will steal a portion of your rewards from missions. You do get everything back though when the Lich dies, but it can be a little bit annoying up to that point. The mods that you need for your Parazon come from Requiem relics that you get either from Kuva Siphon missions or as a drop from the Lich's thralls. You then run them on the Kuva Fortress in a special Fisher, much like a standard Fisher mission. There's a bunch of things in the relics, from Kuva to the new Weapon Excellence mods to the Parazon mods. It's important to know though that each Parazon mod is only good for 3 Lich kills before the mod breaks and you have to farm another one. I think that's pretty much it for the system. It's a fairly simple one, to be honest with you. So what do I think of it? Well, I think it's close to being a great system. Right now, it's RNG on top of RNG on top of RNG on top of RNG. You have a 1 in 13 chance of getting the weapon you want. You have something like a 1 in 35 chance of getting a good roll elemental on it. Then you've got the RNG around the relics, like which relics you get. Then you have the RNG involved with the rewards. You have the RNG involved with the traces required to radiant the relics. You even have the RNG of the combination your Lich requires. My first 3 Liches all used one of the same mods, so that mod that I got broke immediately. A little bit of RNG is good, but this amount of RNG is not, and it's not going to promote people farming this long term. Already seeing people getting 5 of the same weapon from 7 Liches. I've been lucky, and in the 10 or so Liches I've killed, I've only got like 2 duplicates. And they did make it a bit better to get duplicates because you can combine the weapons and transfer the buff from one to the other, replacing it with a better one. Although, that doesn't really address the problem of duplicate weapons that are worse than your original being complete and utter time wasters. But with there being these random percentages on your weapon elemental buffs, are you really going to be wanting to farm for a better one? The chances of not only getting the weapon you want, but also with a better buff, is so minute that honestly most people are just going to get one of the weapons, master it, and leave the system alone. And that's not to mention the fact that you've got to farm all of the 13 weapons 5 times to get the full mastery from them. You get the standard 3000 mastery from them by leveling them normally, and you get an additional 1000 when you put the 5 former on, even if the weapon doesn't actually need 5 former. Now this works with weapons like Paracesis, where not only do you get the additional mod space, but you get a bonus to damage from the sentience from it too. But these ones, you get nothing. You get additional mod space, sure, but you're putting 5 former on, and you already have more than enough mod space by putting 5 former on. You get no additional bonuses though. It's literally 5 former for the sake of 5 former. It's not intuitive, and it's generally just not a good thing. It's a deliberate time sink designed for people to use more former on weapons they wouldn't normally use them on. So how would I change things? How would I bring some of the system back into player control again? Have a little bit of RNG still involved, however, allow the players to have the majority of the control. So first thing I would do, have the Kuva Liches spawn with the weapon their Lich is going to come with. This way, as a player, you can see whether it's something that you want. If that's a Lich you want to go after. That cuts down the frustration of having to go through the entire Lich killing process for a weapon you don't care about, and allows people to chase those specifically that they do. I would also have certain planets have higher chances for certain groups of weapons. This both promotes focusing your farming on something you want specifically, plus promotes going elsewhere on the star chart. Right now, every single Lich for me is created on Adaro, because there's no need to go elsewhere. Not only that, by spreading things out a bit would allow the potential for new weapons to be added in the future. Right now, this system is completely unrealistic to add more weapons into. People already dislike the RNG involved. Could you imagine how much worse it would be if we added more weapons in? Doing this would allow DE to add onto the system in the future. Kuva Hind, Kuva Argonac, that sort of thing, without massively screwing us with even worse RNG. Then we come to the percentage elemental damage on the weapon. I definitely think that removing some of the RNG and bringing this into player control as well would be amazing. For this, I would like to see the level cap on the Lich increased, as well as the enemy level. A max level Lich would be around, let's say, 150, same with the Thralls. However, as the Lich levels up, the percentage bonus on your weapon does too, with a max level Lich always giving you that 60% elemental buff on your weapon. This removes the RNG involved with getting a good roll from the element, but puts it behind player skill instead. We've been wanting something to promote high level play, somewhere to use our max builds, these max weapons. This could be that system. Reward high level play, reward the endgame players, allow skill and knowledge to influence things. You could still have the Lich cap at level 5 for those that can't deal with anything higher, unless you have something on your Parazon. Call it a Kuva Catalyst that occupies a slot that would normally use to kill the Lich, making it so you could actually never kill them, but would allow them to keep leveling up to the max. That way, it's entirely in the player's control, because when it comes time to kill the Lich, or you're starting to struggle against it, you could replace that Kuva Catalyst with the correct final mod to kill or convert that Lich. Now, one common complaint I'm seeing is there's no real reason to level your Lich. And honestly, apart from the progress it gives you towards your own Murmur, they're kind of right. Well, apart from, more planets controlled means more opportunity to avoid crappy game modes and focus on the ones that give you the fastest progress. And this system would alleviate that, because there is a direct benefit to actually leveling your Lich. I know that some people will argue that all of this would make everything too easy and too quick to get a max roll. And honestly, why is a player having to do proper high level content to get a max level weapon a bad thing? You still have to get the right weapon and hunt the Lich, get the mods if you need them, level the Lich multiple times and then take it down and former a weapon 5 times. That's potentially 5 or 6 hours per max weapon. Times that by 13 weapons, that's 65 hours worth of gameplay for 13 maxed out weapons. Honestly, for a system like this, that sounds pretty good to me. And that's not even taking into account if you want duplicate weapons with different elementals. Right now, in all honesty, the way the system is, it just promotes waiting for the trading to come into the game and then buying a good roll, rather than going for it yourself, purely because of just how utterly awful the odds are of actually getting the rolls you're looking for on the weapon that you're actually looking for. This goes double for ephemeras that are tied to rather undesirable weapon elements. So then you go from this system, using horrendous RNG to artificially inflate the time spent in the system, to one that is sustainable, able to add weapons into, allows for focused weapon acquisition, rewards high-level play and game knowledge. I think that making these changes, combined with maybe increasing the mod uses to 5 instead of 3, I mean, I can see why they're limited use, to include Kuva missions and fishes in a bit of a gameplay loop. I definitely don't mind that too much, I just find 3 to be way too low before having to dive back into that RNG pool once again. But I think with these changes, it would make for a much better, more interactive system that actually rewarded higher level players. So let me know what you think about all these changes, whether you think they would improve the system at all, and if you've got any suggestions that you personally have. I know that personally I'm not going to bother trying to get maxed out elemental on a weapon with the system as it is right now, because, well, I mean, just once I've had the weapons, I think I'm done until changes are made. It's a shame, because personally, I think with a few changes, this system could be fantastic. Could even extend to the corpus too, you know, corpus mines being downloaded into new bodies, rather than the Kuva being their blood sort of thing. And then maybe the Parazon has to have the right kind of neural blocker to like stop that or something. I don't know. I'm interested to see your thoughts in the comments below. But for now, many thanks for watching. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I shall see you in the next video.